Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 67, streamed live on January 11th, 2020. This is the first episode of the decade.
Oh yeah, we are in the decade now.
We're in a new decade. This is the first time we've done an episode. Let's make it a good one. We've already got a healthy live streaming audience. And hello to everyone watching after we're live as well.
Hello.
And listening. We know that we have a very large listening audience. So hello to all of you. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week is Marius.
Hello. And I already see people from the audience actually. We have one from Holland. We also have one from Sweden. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I had to get my cat. He was at the door, so I had to get him.
I thought we were about to have to redo the intro.
Nah.
It's gonna look really weird in the video version. So let's start out with some news this week. First off, we have Lionel was head of this project, the photography project. Also, hello to Lionel. You're probably listening in to do the notes for this week. Thank you, as always. But this is the photography project that shows people what they can expect taking pictures from Ubuntu Touch devices. So if you buy, say, a OnePlus 3, you can look at the OnePlus 3 pictures to know what the camera's like on it. Actually, the OnePlus 3 folder is empty. We need some samples from people who have a OnePlus 3. But this is all at photography.ubuntu-touch.io, and I just posted that in live chat. Very nicely hosted by Amelis, so huge thanks to him for hosting this project for us. Nice little Lychee instance that just shows a little photo gallery that we're maintaining. And if you have any pictures from any Ubuntu Touch device, either you don't see them here or you want to add your own samples, you can, of course, do that. I'm going to put Lionel B on the spot here, so he is at Lionel B on Telegram, or you can just ping him in any of our UBports chat groups or anything.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
These pictures are actually much better than what I expected because
have you seen the Xperia X folder? It's kind of nuts how good of pictures that thing can take.
Xperia. Oh god, the camera.
And that's without any. Ubuntu Touch doesn't really do any post processing, so it's very good.
I know that the Sony has excellent camera, but this is really nice.
It has a ridiculous camera. They say it's a 23 megapixel shooter. I don't know if I believe that's what the sensor actually is, but, you know, whatever.
Wow.
I don't know where that device is. Oh,
I wonder how that compares to the OnePlus 3.
I don't know. Maybe you should get some samples of that so you can upload them to the website.
But I can't take pictures. That's the problem.
Oh, right.
I suck at that. That's
just take pictures of random stuff and see what happens.
That's
what I do.
I could probably have the most expensive camera in the world and still take shit pictures.
Yeah, many people can. All right. So moving on to more related stuff with cameras and all sorts of hardware, there are Halium 7.1 ports, which are coming along for the OnePlus 1, the Fairphone 2, and the Nexus 5. Mm-hmm. And so currently all of these devices use Android 5.1 for hardware compatibility.
Yep.
And that is, it's getting on in age. And some of the devices have had long-standing problems ever since the beginning on these platforms, or more recently, including the Nexus 5, the camera freezing, or just altogether not being able to play MP4 videos. I know, that's annoying. It annoys me too. But I still use it. Those are going to be the big ones. Camera issues and video playback issues hopefully should be resolved by these. But also for the Fairphone 2, we'll be seeing better support for the new camera module in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are being headed up the Fairphone 2 project by Rachanan, who we very much appreciate, as well as Florian for the Nexus 5 and the OnePlus One. So thank you to both of you. Unfortunately, Florian couldn't be here today. That makes us really sad, but we appreciate everything that he's doing.
He might come on later, though.
He may.
We don't know. He may.
And then another one from Florian. He is calling for people with the Samsung S3 Neo. Yeah, it's a little bit of a blast from the past, huh? It has a Helium 5.1 port in progress, which currently has most hardware working except for camera, sound in, GSM calls, auto brightness adjustment, and GPS. He says that everything else seems to work, but he would love more testing. So if you have the Samsung Galaxy S3 Neo, that is not the regular S3, that is the Neo, the newer version.
Has to be the Neo.
Hit him up. He is at FlowHack on Telegram.
Yep. So up next, the Zero Police have been working pretty hard on improving the default theme, and the Zero Police is Johan.
Yeah.
So
Johan and myself.
Johan and Dalton. Johan goes for Cyber Sheep, and the other one is Universal Superbox.
Yeah. So
the
we
two
have been working on fixing up some of the colors that are commonly used in the default theme. So the problem that we saw was, well, actually what we wanted to do was put, when you're in a call, all things start from humble beginnings, right? When you're in a call and you leave the dialer, there is a bar, the panel at the top of the screen changes color to denote that you're in a phone call. Right now it's green, but because it is supposed to be focus text, our HIG says that it should be blue, the default blue. The problem is when you put white text on our default blue, there is awful contrast between the two. So it became an unreadable mess. We did some more testing with other colors in the default theme, including ones commonly used for buttons, like the green and the red, and found that they also have horrible contrast and need to be fixed. Luckily, we already had some headway into this because the Qt Quick Controls 2 Suru style, that is another theme for more standard Qt controls that aren't custom made completely by Canonical and ourselves, already used different colors for all of these things because of that problem exactly. And Canonical was already looking into moving to these darker colors. So now we have some new darker colors in light mode, including a darker red, gray, green, and blue, for which when you put white text on top, they look correct. This is not exactly final. Oh, Nexus 7, please. There we are. Not exactly final, but you can see that you can actually see the power off text correctly in this one. The restart and cancel buttons should not have black text. And that was another thing. As we continued to change to darker colors, we realized that sometimes the button would select to put light text on the background, and sometimes it would select dark text. So we also needed to change the colors to match all to one theme. And these are the kinds of things that we've really been thinking about for the past couple of weeks. So the new darker colors are already in Devil, and in the dark theme, if you're using that, there are lighter colors. So both of them kind of offset each other. So now you're able to use any of those. If you're on Devil, you already have them. We're continuing to improve the support between the core apps and other things. For example, in the Open Store, we added Joanne added, I shouldn't be taking credit for any of this. a better focus indicator, if you can see the bar above the bottom there, just to show better focus. And so that is something that I really wanted to highlight this week because it's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of discussion, so we're not done yet. But I think this is going to improve us better for the future and begin the flame wars, people that don't want the colors to change.
Yeah, when things change, there's always be someone complaining.
Mm-hmm. Marius, I believe that you wanted to give the update for the rest of the developments this week, though, so I didn't have to talk the whole time.
Yeah, so I would do a quick Devil update. First of all, I will note that the board that we had for Unity 8 plus Mayor upgrade has been officially closed. We have fixed 54 bugs in that one, closed, which is a lot, and many of them were big bugs in that. But that's not including the work to bring up Unity 8 and the new Mirror in the first place. It was just the bugs that was found after it was got into the...
Yeah.
So that one is finally closed, and we can finally rest that. Next up is the OTA 12 board, which also has been moving along slowly. Well, not slowly at all. Actually, pretty quick.
No. And if I may bring something else here, Flabergen had a question that relates directly to this, so I'm going to bring that up right here in our Q&A. Flabergen says, I switched my Fairphone 2 to Devil since the merge of the new version of Unity 8. It was pretty stable at the time, but I have the feeling that I'm having way more crashes and bugs in the last few weeks. I'm not going to say that's my fault, but it is entirely my fault. Dalton talking. Do you plan to freeze feature integration soon and focus on stability to be able to push OTA 12 on RC, or do you want to integrate more new things first? And if so, what are those things? So the thing is, we aren't really integrating any new features right now. It's all fixes.
It's all bug
fixes are going bad.
Well, they are not going bad in a sense. They are going bad in a way that when you fix one thing, it may or may not break another thing. I think that's where this come from, and many of these fixes have been pretty big because they touch a lot of things. Because many of them are window management fixes, and when you fix one thing in the window manager, that really affects everything you do on the phone because the window manager controls everything. And also one thing we forgot is that many of these PRs are actually spread across different PRs. So when one gets merged in projects, or PRs, it doesn't matter. One of these might get merged in before the other ones, and then you end up where you are a little bit unstable.
You're in the middle of two changes, and they don't exactly cooperate with each other.
Exactly. So this is also when your device starts acting up on Devil, that's a good thing. To be honest,
because things are changing.
Things are changing. Things are improving, but it shouldn't happen. But the thing is that we change so much that the probability of something going wrong is pretty high, and this is why we advise against running daily driver on Devil. But that being said, there shouldn't be any bugs that break everything. That would be bad.
Just most things sometimes.
Well, it hasn't been that broken. It has been more broken. Hasn't. So yeah.
And he did mention crashing. I think that should be fixed with today's image for the most part. Of course, the crashing was caused by something that I did. But Rachanan swooped in to fix it. So it's actually working right now. As for when we are going to move things into RC, there are 3 bugs which are marked critical in Devil on our Ubuntu Touch tracker at github.com/UBports.
Wow.
After those bugs are fixed, we can release RC. But until then, we are unable to release. So those are the things holding everything up right now.
Well, one of them are Nexus 5 ones. I'm not sure if that will just delay the Nexus 5, but that we will see.
We may move
We
that
may.
one out of critical.
Yeah,
Jan has been working on me on moving that one out of critical. So
yeah. It definitely will
I
be
don't want to
critical
say that
out
he's
soon.
gonna win, but he's probably gonna win.
Yeah, I will back Jan up there. But yeah, things are coming along nicely, but those critical bugs needs to be fixed first, especially those that aren't device specific. And also, as you said, a lot of the bugs that you are seeing, the crashes and stuff like that, needs to be confirmed fixed in today's image. If not, we have to add more bug reports
Keep
and
fixing.
keep
We need to
fixing.
add more bugs. There you go.
Yeah, no bug reports. Yeah, we can add more bugs to it. That's what development is. You can't develop without adding bugs. Then you aren't developing.
Words of the wise.
Yes.
All right, let's take a little break here and thank all the people who are making this possible. So thank you to all of the sponsors of the UBports
Oh god.
Foundation and the Ubuntu Touch project, including our infrastructure sponsors, Smooze, Private Internet Access, DigitalOcean, and Packet.net. You're all making it possible for us to build and create Ubuntu Touch. We have a new sponsor this week, Code Luton. I sure hope I pronounced their name right. I should have asked Florian. I'm sorry. Who is now sponsoring Ubuntu Touch. And if you want to join them, of course, if you want to be just like them and sponsoring Ubuntu Touch, you can go to ubports.com/donate or contact us at info@ubports.com. I'd also like to thank our community sponsors on Patreon, including George Toma, Darko Balka, Thoralf Sun, Laurentian Tilleman, Milan Eliv, Scott Marley, Rana Mirkalev, Morgan McMillan, Sergio Shvetsov, and Yogesh Patad. If you'd like me to mispronounce your name as well, you can head over to patreon.com/ubports and sponsor to the tune of $20 a month or more. I think that's the one.
Yep.
If I said that wrong, punch me. Speaking of, you can punch me soon. We will be at FOSDEM in a few weeks. So if you want to kick us in the shins or just make good on that handshake or hug thing that was on Patreon a while back, there's the time. Alan punched me. Alan Pope punched me.
Alan Pope.
So I assume that means I got something wrong. Oh well.
Pope phone.
Pope phone. Should we take some questions?
Yes, let's go into questions. This is the fun part.
So we take these questions from our forum. Roughly on Monday before the show, there will be a forum post announcing the show where you're able to ask your questions and get them in before anyone else does. We'll also take questions from the live chat when we're finished with these. So first, Mundane asks, I'm running Ubuntu 18.04 with Unity 7 installed from the universe. This year, the new Ubuntu LTS 20.04 will be released, and I hope I can continue using Unity. Is it realistic to have Unity 8 available for 20.04 by April or May?
Well, this is a bit of a yes but no answer, because you say, is it realistic to have it available? And that is realistic to have it available, that you can download it, but for it to be a usable desktop is not realistic, because it still needs a lot of movement and development on the desktop side before it will be to a point where you can use it. But I hope to get to a point where it's actually somewhat usable within the year. But don't hold me accountable on that. But it definitely won't be usable in, is it 3 months?
Yeah, it's 3-4 months.
But it may be available to download. And also, if you want to help out with that would be amazing. To help out bring up the Unity 8 stack and normalify remove many of the old components and stuff like that. That would be awesome if you want to help out with that.
You can join that project at UBports_Unity8 on Telegram. Not
Yeah.
a game engine. Not a game engine.
Again, Jim.
You know,
Or you
so
can
many
also,
people join that group and ask questions about the Unity game engine.
yeah,
It's like,
a bit,
you have to say, you know, you really tried hard, but this isn't the place for you. I'm sorry.
yeah. But you also can join our other group, which is UBports_devil, which is our development group.
Yes, for general development topics.
Yeah.
But Unity 8 on the desktop will most likely work in the Unity 8 group best.
Yeah.
So yes, but actually no. Technically no.
Yeah. Okay, so last question is from 3Arn0WL.
Barn Owl.
Barno. Why do you use letters as numbers as your letters?
You
Me
can't
don't
speak
know.
Leet? Marius, I
No.
thought you were a hacker.
Well, I'm not a gamer hacker or script kiddie. So but
I am disappointed.
but he asks, is it me or is it just my perception or is it just my perception or is the interest in UT increasing?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where you are looking in the community, but it certainly does seem that we are being mentioned either on news sites like Softpedia, Phoronix, and heck, even projects related to us are being mentioned on like OMG Ubuntu and other sources that are a little bit outside of our scope mostly. So yes, we are seeing many more mentions of that. And a lot of podcasts as well. If you're listening to podcasts, you would certainly get this perception, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's overall true, even for development, because development PRs that comes in and stuff like that has increased steadily.
Yeah, our pace of development is skyrocketed in this, like the last 2 cycles, really.
Yes. It really gone up from, like, give me a good example is the keyboard, for example, has gone a lot of improvements into it. But it also shows on our request numbers from Cloudflare, which shows a skyrocket in people requesting the
Just
website.
an interest, yeah.
Just an interest, yeah. But we won't know for sure, really, because we don't have any measure of measuring that.
Right, not yet.
Well, not yet. Well, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do there.
Yeah.
And I think it's related to things like the Pine phone that
Yeah.
It's just getting more accessible to people, and people are getting excited about this again. Like we saw for a time after Canonical dropped Ubuntu Touch and Firefox OS unfortunately went the way of Ubuntu Touch.
Yeah.
We kind of saw things die down for a while, but now with the Pine phone and other projects just growing, we're seeing a lot more interest in all of these things and people coming back and thinking that it's possible again, I think. Where for a while there was a lot of just negativity about the whole concept of open source, freedom, privacy respecting phones. You know, people thought that was a lost cause for a little bit, but now it's kind of coming back.
But I feel like I feel like the same wrong. Well, I feel like the expectation today are still a bit skewed in the way that.
Hey, I think you can plug something for that.
Yeah, I had a blog post about exactly this thing on my new blog, marogrip.com, if you want to check it out. Shameless plug. But yeah, in this, I talked about the expectation on having Linux on mobile, and I see a lot of expectation to be able to run this, to run a normal GNU/Linux stack on a phone. And yes, this is technically possible, and this is also something I talk about in the blog post. But the
poster child is GIMP on your phone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think GIMP is the best example for this. Is that
Everyone runs GIMP on their mobile phone. No.
yeah, it's technically possible to run GIMP. Yes, but why would you run GIMP on your phone? It's not usable. You can't use it. It's not a good experience. Maybe in the future we will have a mobile version of GIMP, or the UI turns into GIMP. But I think they need to fix the GUI on desktop before they even think about fixing it on.
Hey, I
Uh,
like GIMP.
uh
Excuse you, sir.
yeah, I like GIMP too, but for a newcomer, it's not really the easiest to learn. It's really hard.
Eh. On tablet, it would kind of work. That is correct, Mr. OKP, but uh, it's still kind of a small screen for GIMP. And
Yeah,
of course, that is the stated one of the stated goals of Libertine is to use things like GIMP on something this size, not this size.
yeah. So, and this is also why we haven't really put that much time into like Librahim and stuff like that, because it's more of a this is cool factor than this is useful factor for phones,
Right.
because we have been working on exclusively phones and tablets. But this comes more into play when actual conversions come in, where you can use this desktop
That means
on.
one code base running everywhere, remember?
Yeah.
The
So
same UD8 is everywhere, not you can plug in an external screen. Although you can do that, and that is also awesome and getting better in OTA 12.
but yeah, this is exactly where the use case for Libertine is when you have a desktop interface, you can then use these desktop apps, and that's where the idea comes in from. Not that you can run it on the phone. I have never used a desktop app on a phone, even though I can. The only part I have used it is when I go to convention and see, hey, I can run this GNU/Linux app on my phone.
Some people do use VLC, which is admittedly not a good experience, but it does play MP4s on the Nexus 5. That is a workaround, but it,
Well,
it
there,
does have its merits, no doubt.
right, right.
So that's a long-winded way to say, yes, interest in Ubuntu Touch is increasing.
Yeah, yes. But yeah, check out my blog post. I think it's a good
It's
read.
mariogrip.com. It's the only link there. It's the only post.
The only post, yes. You can't miss it.
Fla had another question. Oh,
We
wait, we
already
already
read
answered
it.
Is someone already working on Halium 7.1 for the Fairphone 2? Yes. We mentioned that earlier in the episode. I apologize.
Yep.
Go.
Ireland. Ireland? Ireland? I heard last time Mir is going to be replaced with Wayland. Does that mean you can run desktop app GNOME/KDE in UT in the future?
Man, we should have saved that whole rant for this.
Yes.
Uh,
But I
yeah.
first want to take out the first question. The first statement here is Mir going to be replaced with Wayland? No. Mir is still going to be here, but it will implement the Wayland protocol, so you can run Wayland apps using the Wayland protocol on Mir.
Mm-hmm. Both Gizmo Chicken and Alan Griffiths, Alan being the lead developer for Mir, have answers for this in the forum. In that Q&A thread. So I'm going to toss that in live chat. Hopefully that gets picked up too for posterity and notes taking and stuff. So that should be in the show notes as well. Yeah. Long story short, no, the Mir protocol is going to be replaced with Weiland, but not Mir.
Yeah.
Because Mir is to Weiland as Mutter is to Weiland. Yes, it is still called Mutter. Mutter implements Wayland for GNOME.
Yeah,
Mir implements Weiland for Unity 8, someday Mate maybe. Those kinds of
Mutter
things.
is the compositor for GNOME.
Yes.
And the same goes with Kwin, which is the KD one, and the same goes for any other display engine that implements Wayland. Wayland is just a protocol. It's the language that applications talk with the display engine, to say it easily, or the compositor.
I think that makes it even less clear when you say it like that.
Yeah, it's well, it is the language. Yeah, it's the way the client talks to the compositor.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the second part of the question, does this mean we can run desktop apps on Ubuntu Touch in the future? Yes, but you don't want to. But other than that, we have a project called Waylandify on GitHub in the UBports organization. And that collects bugs that we're experiencing on, say, the PinePhone and the Raspberry Pi and other things that can't run the Mir all protocol and can only run the Weiland protocol.
Mir client.
Mir client protocol can only run the Weiland protocol for apps.
Yep.
And when those are fixed, then we will run Ubuntu Touch apps natively in Weiland, which for the user should be absolutely no different than what happens right now, but we get to say that they use Weiland. So it's cool.
And you can technically run desktop apps natively without using Xmir, as we do now for desktop apps.
Yes, instead if it's an X-only app, it'll use X-Weiland.
Yeah.
So.
And it might actually be better integrated into the desktop and stuff like that, since you use Weiland natively.
We'll see.
But games still won't be usable.
Not on your 5-inch phone. Maybe on your 10-inch tablet.
Yeah, maybe.
And definitely if you plug it into an external display.
Yes.
And have a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Erlen's next question was, will it be possible to run Ubuntu Touch in distributions like PostMarketOS or Fedora? Okay.
So I think they're a little bit confusing here, because Ubuntu Touch is the operating system, while I think he means running Unity 8 or desktop stack or stack on other distributions.
Yes.
And
that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Because Ubuntu Touch is this whole platform that you build an application for, deploy it, it gets in the open store, you run it.
Yeah.
Whereas the Unity 8 stack and Ubuntu components and everything around it is a not yet quite portable set of tools that can go to other distributions. Now, Fedora, for example, has Mir in the repositories already, so it will be a little bit easier to build for Fedora. And there are projects for people to build Unity 8 and its surrounding things for Debian, as well as PostMarketOS. But both of those are in progress.
Well, actually, there is a Unity 8 port for Fedora, but I haven't seen the status of that lately. I'm not sure.
That is a while ago now, so it probably isn't so up to date anymore.
Right. But
that's the problem
I will leave the link in the live chat.
So it will be possible to run Unity 8, the desktop environment, if someone ports it to other operating systems, like PostMarketOS or Fedora. And indeed, there are people working on projects like that. But it may not quite be just like running Ubuntu Touch.
Yep.
It won't be like desktop Linux where you just install the same software in a different way, for most cases, I expect. Uwa. That's a cool way to say the name. Asks, are there any plans for which devices will be supported in the future, such as with Ubuntu 2004? If so, which devices would you say are safe to buy right now?
So I would definitely say that it's safe to buy some of the new Android or Helium 7.1 ported devices. And this goes especially for the OnePlus 3 and the Sony
Sony Xperia X.
Sony Xperia X. Okay, these Sony names, man. But those devices are the one that I would say is definitely safe to buy. And also definitely safe to buy is the Nexus 5 and the OnePlus 1 and the Fairphone 2. Those are devices that definitely will be carrying along.
However, I do want to say, PinePhone as well.
PinePhone, yeah, PinePhone.
PinePhone. You should buy things for what they are today and not what they could be in the future or what we're promising for the future, right? Don't buy a device because you think it's going to do everything that you want it to in the future. Buy it because you know it does what you want it to do today. And then any more functionality that gets added to it is a helpful bonus.
Yeah.
That is a much better way to look at it than to buy something that's safe for the future.
Yeah. True.
Mostly because the people who port these things, of course, are volunteers. And of course, they could use your help if you're buying it to help them out. We'd love that. But sometimes things happen and priorities change in people's lives. So you don't want to buy something only to be a consumer of their work, just to have them have their priorities change.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a better way of looking at it.
Buy things for what they are now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can answer a couple of frequently asked ones that I'm seeing in live chat before we get out of here. A lot of people asked if we will port to their device. And we get this every time, but we'll answer it here. If you would like to port Ubuntu Touch to your device, there are hundreds, thousands of Android devices out there. There's absolutely no way that we're going to get to all of them. And the people who port these things are mostly volunteers. So if you'd like to get started on that, you can head over to docs.ubports.com. And there you'll find our porting guide that'll get you started on downloading the source and building the source, as well as give you resources to continue on or get help. You need a device that runs either Android 5.1 or Android 7.1 and has a Lineage OS port of either of them available. That is Lineage OS 12.1 or Lineage OS 14.1. If those are not available, you will not be able to port Ubuntu Touch to your device currently.
I found one that I added to the pad.
Okay.
Another question, which is actually a pretty good question.
Hit it. Okay, yep. So No asks. Yeah, no. Will Qt 6 be beneficial to Ubuntu Touch? And what new things are you excited about in Qt 6? Right now, Ubuntu Touch is using Qt 5.9. We're hoping to upgrade to 5.15 should be the next LTS. I think.
I'm not sure
if there is a 5.15 release.
I know there's
5.12.
5.12 is definitely that one is already out.
That's already out and that's already an LTS. But
so
one of the next LTSs.
So first of all, yes, it definitely will be beneficial for us. I watched some of the live stream. I will actually see if I can find that live. That one that I sent to you, Dalton. I
didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Oh man,
I didn't watch it. I just listened to you fangirling over it.
Oh man, I am definitely fangirling over Qt6. Some of the new stuff that comes in is actually quite amazing. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is the compiled QML. A compiled QML will mean that we get much better performance on some of our applications, especially for Unity 8 and the startup stack. I really hope this can be really beneficial for us to increase the performance overall on the system.
For reference, QML is the Qt markup language which we use to compose components together for use in Ubuntu Touch, and some apps are written entirely in QML. Right
Yeah.
now, QML is a interpreted, kind of just-in-time compiled language, which reads from your source files at the time of running them. And some of those results can be cached, much like Python can cache some of its bytecode and things like that. But it's still a lot of startup lag.
Yeah, especially on applications that just starts up, because a lot of stuff have to be moved into memory and run. And this is something they also will change in Qt6, where they change some of the memory structure so that's built by the compiler on compile time. So the memory structure is already built, so you doesn't have to build that on startup, which also will increase startup times, which is also amazing.
Decrease.
Decrease startup time, yes. And there's also a lot of stuff like Vulkan is coming in, and we have improvements to Waylon coming in. We have improvements to the overall architectural side of it. There's a lot of legacy stuff that will be removed, which is always good. And also, one of the exciting things, which is mostly for me, nobody else probably care about it, but is that they will use more standard C++ libraries, integrate more with the standard C++ libraries.
Okay.
So, but there is a lot more than what we have time for. Keep in mind that the stream that I watched was 1 hour long.
Nice.
I will see if I can find it.
You want to give us the link to that in case anyone else wants to fangirl over Qt6?
Yeah.
All right. Lionel, we're expecting you. We need you.
Copy link. Watch that. It's by the CTO or CEO, Lars Knoll from the Qt company. But yeah, I'm not fangirling over because it's Qt. I'm fangirling over it because it will benefit us, Qt, Ubuntu Touch, and KDE.
Whatever you say. I believe you.
But yeah, it's quite massive, and also the 3D improvements. It's not really for us, but it's kind of cool.
We still use a lot of compositing features and stuff, though. So.
Well, not the 3D parts of it, but.
And not the really pretty parts.
Yeah, pretty parts.
Sorry, I misheard you on that one. Okay. Well, I think that'll do it. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this Ubuntu Touch Q&A. It was the first one of the decade.
Oh,
it ended up being a little short. What?
I have a short question here. Specifically to me. Is Norwegian Bank ID working for you? From Boris. And yes, but no. So I have an experimental thing that I made a while back.
What is Norwegian Bank ID, Marius?
So Norwegian Bank ID is your bank ID.
See.
No, it's a way to authenticate from government sources in Norway, and they use a special but kind of a genius method in my book. They use the SIM toolkit that's built in to generate your own a special key based that's just for your phone, and then you have to authenticate or sign that key and send that back to when you log in. So it's two-factor authentication for phones, but it's not really two-factor authentication.
Yeah, you say that it's using SIM toolkit. What some people don't realize is these little SIM cards are a computer. There's a computer in there. They can do things like signing authentication requests and stuff.
It's a microcomputer, not a computer. It's a microchip.
Yeah. It's more like it is a Java card, smart card, right?
Yeah, but it still runs. I think it's a RISC computer. It's not the ARM. It's a RISC something.
Yeah. So it's more like if you've ever used a smart card, or you've seen like your doctor use a smart card to get into their computer. That's what your SIM card is. And
yeah,
those are both little computers that talk to the other computer to let you do things.
Yep. And the cool thing with that is that it actually used the SIM toolkit, which I personally am really happy that they chose to go that route, because that means that it's not
It's
bind
not locked
to
down.
it's not locked down to a specific app. And I'm kind of sad that more people don't use that. I feel like that would be a good way to have cross-platform applications.
Well, if more people used it, then there'd be more support for it.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's a good technology that Bankit has implemented, and it has yet to be cracked. But
Probably.
I don't know. Some Norwegian software is sketchy, so I
Okay, now you can move on to whether or not it works on Ubuntu Touch, though.
yes, but no, is what I said. I have a demo software that kind of works, but kind of don't. So soon, TM. I plan to continue working on that after update 12, because I know there's a lot more than just Norwegian. Because you have emergency stuff that comes up in these pop-up messages and stuff like that. So it's not only for Norway.
I mean, you could also push that somewhere, and then someone else might be able to work on it.
Yeah, but the code is horrendous. That's the only problem.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. It
Yeah,
happens to the best of us.
yeah.
Okay, now can I do the outro?
Yes.
You gonna stop me this time?
No.
We're giving the poor folks at home a double take. Thank you everyone for watching the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, episode 67. You can find us on all sorts of social media websites, including Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Diaspora. Don't you dare. We also have news channels that send out news, things that we want you to know, but you don't necessarily need to interact back with us. And you can find those on Telegram or Matrix if you just want to get them in your chat client. You can also chat with us. We're very social on Matrix or Telegram. Matrix is #UBports:matrix.org, and Telegram is @UBports. Or for longer form content, you can find You can find us on forums.ubports.com. That is our forum for forum content. And of course, you can find us in many other places throughout the week. I am at Universal Superbox. That is without any E's on Twitter. And Marius, what are you on Twitter?
I'm Margrip on Twitter. Margrip everywhere, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And I'm at Universal Superbox with the E's almost everywhere else. I think that'll do it. If you want to follow either of us, that'll be the place to go. And we'll see you all.
Yeah. And we'll see you all next time. And for you guys still listening after the show, we will have a live chat over at whereby/ubports-chat. So if you want to come over there,
we'll send the link in Telegram.
Yeah, whereby, it's not whereby. Okay, but goodbye. I will end stream now. Bye.
See.